Okay, so this is scientific proof for the soul, or for God. I got this information off of a video I saw from David Wilcock. It's probably all on his website. He says he's going to put out a book that's of stuff that it's even more than what's on his website. I think I'll get the book and collect all the data and put all that data on my website. So my website will be better than his book and his website. Haha. But um, there's all sorts of scientific proofs for it. So hopefully I'll have time to go into torsion fields and all the other scientific stuff. Okay, so you have the double slit experiment, proving the uncertainty principle, where the balls of carbon turn into waves of energy. And then you have the non-locality experiments, where you take somebody's. This is all proving that there's a world out there, okay, that exists, and that's where our soul lives. That's where we are, where life is. You take some blood out of your body, you put it 3,000 miles away, and then you're happy, and then your DNA inside expands, and then you become angry, and then it contracts immediately, without any time going by, with timed watches. Okay, and then you have sterilized places suddenly growing mold. Like inside of your refrigerator, if you completely clean it out, all the spores of bacteria, and you know it's clean. If you leave it there, the bacteria will grow back. And some people, the problem with conventional science is that they just cannot, for some reason, admit that there's an actual other dimension out there, even though it's been scientifically proven. And now I'll go back to the scientifically proven part of it. With CERN in Switzerland, a little halogen collider where they spin the atoms around at near the speed of light, crash into each other, and then explode. They explode into these different configurations. The innards of the atom explode, and into these certain lattice work of configuration, and that's where they get all those different dimensions, the 11 dimensions. There's this configuration, and then you do it faster in another configuration, do it faster in another configuration, and it's a different. That's at least what I kind of put that together myself, because they never actually explained it, because they're not very good at explaining stuff. But and we all know that our whole world is created out of vibration anyway, and that it's all empty. If my fist was in the center of a football stadium, the electron would be going around, the very outer edges of it, and then so it's like one atom connected to another atom, connected to another atom.
Hey, Kyle.
Yeah?
What's going on, man?
I'm just talking.
On the phone?
No, to myself.
Okay, just checking that.
Cool. So, yeah, so it's all empty, and it's all like vibration. And so you get, and that's been proven. So back to how science doesn't seem to want to admit that. Now, I don't have actual proof of it, so maybe these scientists are full of it, but what I've seen in my own life is stuff just grows out of nowhere. And we see it every day with like on our front yard. Every fall we have to rake up our leaves and put them in a big trash can, and then it's like the earth just bubbles out of the ground. There's actually scientific proof that the earth is growing, itself is growing, because the earth just grows from the sunlight. So it's kind of like money grows on trees, food grows on trees. It just grows out of nowhere. But also organisms and creatures grow out of nowhere. 423. Yeah, so you can like completely sterilize a refrigerator, and then it'll like grow mold on it. And where did the mold come from? Well, conventional science would say that it's just like spores. Well, I've done a little bit of research on it, knowing what size like spores are and bacteria are, and yeah, they're really small, but they're not like totally small. like a clump of bacteria is almost as wide as a hair follicle, which you can see. So, and those are the bigger, kind of bigger bacteria, and the smaller ones, would be scopic compared to those. So, you could see them next to each other. So, it is conceivable you can wipe that stuff out. Anyways, but they come back anyway. And the idea is that they come, the DNA, their DNA comes from the other dimension. It just comes. It gets zapped here. That life zap, the scientists are like, where does it come from? Comes from everywhere. So, and it's always coming all the time. So anyways, there have been some scientific experiments where they have actually completely sterilized things, and then lo and behold, organisms grow inside of them. And I think even David Wilcock mentioned that nuclear physicists inside of those nuclear power plants are always having these reoccurring problems of organisms growing inside of their nuclear reactors, even though they make them completely sterile. And then you have North Pole and South Pole. They have these little creatures that eat and poop and everything. They're creatures, and they're the same exact creatures from the North and the South Pole. And and how can they? And people would be like, oh yeah, well the creature traveled. How would a creature that only lives in the North and South Pole travel from the North to the South Pole? It doesn't make any sense. And the idea is that, well, they were born there because that's where the vibration of what they exist in, the vibration that's the world that they live in, that they thrive in. That's the environment that they thrive in. And the ether, if you will, the hyperdimensional energy just created them there, just vibrated them into existence the same exact way that your different vibrations create the cymatics. It just creates it, and then it solidifies, and then that's what we see. And so, anyways, there have been other scientific experiments where you can somebody gave a virus to somebody else. This cell over here had a virus, right? And then this other cell, completely quarantined, was completely healthy. The guy shot a laser through the sick virus to the healthy virus, through the sick cell to the healthy cell. And the signature of the laser beam, as it passed through, because it had the certain signature in the higher dimension, gave the healthy cell the virus. So the virus teleported. They can teleport viruses. So so everything that is in this world is created from the higher dimension, higher world. Also, as scientists, I think most of the scientists are Russians, I hear, took a salamander, egg, or took a frog egg, right? So an egg comes out of a frog, and then the guy shoots the laser beam signature into that egg of a salamander. Now I don't know exactly how he did it, and I'd like to know, but maybe he put the salamander egg here, and then he puts the frog egg over here, and then he shoots it through, and then the frog egg mutated into a salamander egg, and a salamander came out. So you can create an animal that's completely different from where the egg came from. The egg is just an unformed piece of meat it's like, what am I going to be? Kind of like little kids, or like little empty vessels, what am I going to think? What am I going to do? And you just create that into them. So anyways, David Wilcock was mentioning that, the duck-billed platypus. People are like, well, where did the duck-billed platypus come from? Well, the idea maybe is that there was a duck and there was a weasel, because the duck-billed platypus is kind of like half duck, half weasel. There was a duck and there was a weasel, and they were next to each other, and there was a lightning strike, and they both got zapped, and the electromagnetic or the etheric energy connected them, and it mutated the fetus that was inside of one of them into a duck-billed platypus, and boom, out pops a completely new species. But then of course, perhaps that was a divine spark that was meant to be, and because the species, it's just which is another argument for intelligent design, takes that to a whole new level. But anyways, I didn't get to torsion fields, which is a whole nother argument. So I guess that'll be my next video.